Hi, and welcome to Focus on Health. I'm Jay Cohen, the director of the Winstead YMCA, and we're happy to have you with us again tonight. As always, we're talking to people and organizations and businesses that are working with the community to help build health, sense of community, and just keep people active and having fun. And tonight, as always, we've got another great guest. I'm with Dr. Kirk Sinclair, aka the Hiking Humanitarian, and we're going to run out of time quickly tonight because Kirk's got a lot of great stuff to talk about, and always an interesting conversation. But Kirk, thanks so much for joining me tonight.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm excited about being here.
So people are probably already curious. Hiking Humanitarian. How did you get that name?
Well, I am a writer and a singer and a speaker and a teacher for that matter, about topics of kindness, community, and humanity. And I also happen to be a prolific hiker. So I thought I would combine my vocation and my avocation, my love for long-distance hiking, with my vocation of writing and singing and speaking about kindness and community and humanity. My wife Cindy and I went for a 5,000-mile walk across the country along the American Discovery Trail, which you can see right here. That's kind of the route, the southern route down there.
And you say this so casual, like went for a walk, like one afternoon, hey, let's go for a walk.
Yeah, the trail goes from Point Reyes in California to Cape Henlopen in Delaware, but once we got to the end, we hung a left and walked up to our home in Norfolk, Connecticut. So that was billed while doing that journey, and I gave talks to schools and community organizations and faith-based groups all across the country. I was billed as a hiking humanitarian in giving those talks.
Excellent. And so, what kind of planning went into that? We were saying it sounded casual, but I'm sure it took a lot of planning.
It did. Fortunately, I had the prior experience of having done a lot of long-distance backpacking, having hiked the Appalachian Trail and having hiked the Pacific Crest Trail and the Continental Divide Trail, and in those cases organizing groups to hike them. So I had been involved in doing a lot of logistics for long-distance hikes in the past, and that gave me a leg up in planning this one. The thing that was new and an added burden, if you will, in planning this one was organizing places to give a talk at along the way. Mainly I focused on Lions clubs, and when the journey started I was only going to be giving talks to Lions clubs, but as the journey went on, opportunities came to speak at schools at all levels: elementary school, high school, college, and also to faith-based groups. And the reason for the latter was a lot of times we slept on church floors. And we were very ecumenical about it. It didn't matter the denomination. We would sleep on any church floor. But along with that, I often gave a talk to sometimes a sermon or sometimes a Bible study or what have you.
Excellent. And I'm sure it kept you pretty healthy along the way, although I'm sure it took its toll as well.
Well, yeah, the walking, we were meant to be active like that, and in fact, back in the days.
You say we, you mean as humans?
Humans,
yeah.
Yes, humanity. In fact, back in the day when I was doing the Appalachian Trail with groups of people, people hiked the whole trail with all kinds of affliction, and they healed themselves along the way. Because really the body is meant more to be active than to be sedentary. It's built more for that.
And we're paying the price these days.
Yes, we are indeed. We are 38th in the world in terms of life expectancy now, and things like diabetes, we're 3 times the world average and that kind of thing. And those are some of the things I talked about as I went across the country, because there are things that are hurting us. Mainly the things I talked about most had to do with housing, health, and hunger. That there's not really universal access to those things. There are people going hungry, there are people without homes, and healthcare is a problem.
Absolutely. So what's one of the most memorable kind of incidents or stops along the way? I'm sure there's quite a few, but...
Oh yeah, where do you begin? I'd like to, perhaps what comes to mind, I'm just going to pull off what comes to mind right
Sure.
at this moment. And if
Sure.
you ask me, 10 minutes later, it'll be something else. But there's one day I call Trail Angel Day while hiking through Nevada. And in hiking jargon, a trail angel is someone who does some unexpected act of kindness for you. Happens all the time on the Appalachian Trail. I mean, not many people hike the American Discovery Trail, so there's not as many stories about that. But you hear stories about on the Appalachian Trail, people just coming out and, you're walking along and there's a cooler of soda or something like that someone just left there for any hiker to come by. Well, on Trail Angel Day, that in Nevada, a lot of things that set up this day was it was during a heat wave, the July 4th weekend in a Nevada desert. And usually there's not anybody out there in Nevada, in central Nevada, But this happened to be the 4th of July weekend, so there were actually a lot of ATVers and stuff out there that we encountered. And to add to that's one of the times I happened to be sick. I had an intestinal virus. So I probably looked like death warmed over to begin with, and here it is, a heat wave in Nevada. And the ATVers all throughout the day just stopped to help us in some way. They probably took one look at me and said, this guy needs help. But, they Gatorade, soda, beef jerky, water. Some guy stopped and gave us $20. I mean, just probably 8 times in the Nevada. And that may not sound like that much, but virtually everyone who went by us stopped to ask and help and do something for us. And really that kind of kindness abounds. That was one of the central themes of my message going across the country, is kindness really does abound. We don't get that impression from mass media. We see all the horrific stories out there and we think that's universal. But really kindness is more universal than a lot of the horrors that we see.
Sure.
In mass media.
Were you ever really let down along the way?
No. It was ahead of time. We were told that Kansas would be the friendliest state, but in the end, the kindness was universal all across the country. We were invited into homes. Besides church floors, we were also invited into homes to stay. I mean, we had backpacking equipment. We were prepared, and most of the time we were camping out. But like I said, churches invited us into their sanctuaries, and people invited us into their homes, and that happened all across the country.
That's excellent. And so now you've taken this experience and you've done so much with it. I know you've been doing talks locally. This summer you worked with the YMCA Camp Wawasagoya and shared a lot of your outdoor skills and experiences with the kids. How did that go this summer? How was it? How did the kids receive it?
Oh, I think I think they received it well. Mainly, I was working with the leadership and training program, so I wasn't in terms of the message of community and kindness. That was mainly something that I was delivering to the oldest campers there, the 15, 16, 17-year-olds. And who knows down the road what happens, but it seemed to leave an impression on them.
And I know you took them for some overnights on the Appalachian Trail.
Yes, yeah, I took that was part of the training, is to take them out on and that was good because that is one thing why I'm so into and so involved in these ideas of kindness and community is once again because of my previous experiences in backpacking. I was, in essence, a modern nomad. And that led me to study early nomads. And the thing is, naturally, under the natural nomadic small bands, small band society sort of thing, we're social. I mean, we're altruistic under the normal natural conditions of living together in small bands and traveling together and what have you. And so that was a good thing to impress upon the leaders in training of the Y, that this intimate kind of setting where you're all in it together, and you belong to each other first and foremost, rather than belong to your whatever your political party or your whatever it is that you belong, instead of to each other.
Sure. Well, I'm sure that's going to leave a lasting impression on those kids.
Yeah, one really great comment was, this doesn't have to do with the community or kindness thing, but we were up on top of Race Mountain, and one of the kids said, "This is the best spot I've ever been in." I mean, Race Mountain is like you have panoramic views. You're walking along these cliffs, and so you're on top of the world, and plus the blueberries were out in season then, and so it left a mark too. Just the beauty and the bounty that was there.
That's excellent. Now I understand you're also taking some of the stuff you've learned and bringing it to Norfolk and working with some other organizations. So tell me a little bit about this latest adventure you're embarking on.
Yes, this is very timely, and I really appreciate this opportunity right now, because on Friday, September 20th, there's going to be a community potluck supper at the Norfolk UCC Congregational Church, the dining hall for that. And though it's at being held at the church, it's a community event put together by an alliance of different Norfolk organizations. The Lions Club is involved, the Curling Club, the school, the Catholic Church. So it's an alliance, and that was one of the key virtues that I found about communities as we walked across the country. It wasn't just me on a mission. It was also sort of being on a pilgrimage, learning what was going right with these communities, what were the key things. And one of the key things was the idea of an alliance, getting together, not trying to be a hero by yourself or by your single organization, but trying to get an alliance of different organizations together in order to do something. And so, we formed that alliance, and now the inaugural event, community meals is the idea, and with an equal emphasis on both nurturing community and providing meals for people who might need them, but both, equal emphasis on both. And this will be the inaugural event for that. And it will continue on to different venues. The Curling Club will start hosting them.